Traore just launched gold-backed African currency, AES ditches CFA. West in shock. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to hold hope in your hands? Real, tangible hope when the world around you seems stuck in old, broken systems. Imagine a man standing in a sun-drenched square in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso, where the air hums with the chatter of vendors and children playing. This man, Captain Ibrahim Traore, isn't just a leader. He is a beacon of change, the spark in a dark room, daring to rewrite the future of Africa. From the very first moment, Traore announced the launch of the African Economic Stability Currency, or AES, backed by gold reserves right here on the continent. A ripple of disbelief swept through the West. The long-standing CFA franc, a currency tied to the French treasury and a symbol of colonial influence, suddenly seemed fragile, outdated, and vulnerable. But for the people of Burkina Faso and beyond, this was not just about money. It was about reclaiming dignity, sovereignty, and the possibility of a new dawn. Can you imagine how he felt standing there, knowing the weight of history and hope rested on his shoulders in the crowded markets? The smell of spices and grilled meat mingled with the fresh dust stirred up by the footsteps of hopeful citizens. Among them was Amina, a school teacher who had lived through decades of economic hardship. Her eyes, bright with determination despite the worn edges of her modest clothes, reflected the cautious optimism that many felt. For so long, she told a friend, our money was tied to decisions made far away, decisions that never seemed to consider us. But now, maybe we can decide for ourselves. But this change wasn't easy. Skepticism ran deep. Foreign powers watched warily. Some whispered that this was a dangerous gamble, that it could isolate Africa from global markets, or worse, provoke economic backlash. Within Burkina Faso, families worried. Would this new currency bring stability or chaos? Would it lift them from poverty or sink them deeper? These fears weighed heavily in the hearts of many. Yet amid this tension, small acts of kindness began to emerge, quietly transforming the nation's spirit. One afternoon, at a local market bustling with energy, an elderly man named Kofi noticed a young boy struggling to carry a heavy basket of tomatoes. Without hesitation, Kofi stepped in, lifting the basket and walking with the boy to the stall where his mother sold vegetables. It was a simple gesture, yet it spoke volumes. Community lifting community. Strength born from compassion. The story of Kofi and the boy spread quickly, becoming a symbol of the new chapter unfolding. It wasn't just about currency or politics. It was about people reconnecting with their humanity, rediscovering the power of generosity even in uncertain times. This kindness created a ripple effect. Soon, Amina, the school teacher, was organizing free classes for children whose families struggled with rising costs. During the transition, parents came together, sharing meals and stories, building a support network rooted in hope. Then came a moment no one expected. A foreign delegation arrived, their faces masked with caution and curiosity. They came to meet Traore, to understand this bold move. At first, talks were stiff, fraught with tension. But as Traore spoke not with arrogance, but with heartfelt conviction, something shifted. He spoke of Africa's right to chart its own destiny, to break free from chains that had held it back for too long. He spoke of gold, yes, but more importantly, of trust, resilience, and unity. His words touched even the skeptics. One evening, after a long day of negotiations, Trory stepped outside to find a small group of children waiting with handmade signs, reading, "Thank you, Captain, and our future is bright." Their smiles, pure and unguarded, melted the day's exhaustion from his face. In that moment, the story was no longer just political. It was deeply personal. This was for them, for every child dreaming of a future where their potential would not be limited by history. The launch of the AES currency, it became a celebration unlike any other. Streets filled with music, laughter, and dances that lasted into the night. But amid the jubilation, Trory never lost sight of what truly mattered: the kindness that bound a nation, and the hope that fueled its rise. It was in every helping hand, every shared meal, every lesson taught with love. As you watch this story unfold, ask yourself, how can a single act of kindness, no matter how small, ripple through a community and spark change? Trory's vision reminds us all that change begins with hope and grows through compassion. And as this story reaches you, wherever you are, remember that you hold that same power. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe to join a community that believes in kindness and the unstoppable strength of hope. Share your own stories of compassion below, because together we can build a future brighter than we ever imagined. And stay tuned for our next story, where an unexpected hero in a small town challenges the impossible and rewrites destiny.